What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, I am very excited. I'm always excited, but today I am very excited because we're going to be making hot sauce from the garden. That's right. I have not done this in, I'd say probably 5-7 years. It's been a long time, but I don't know why I haven't done it. It's so easy, so delicious, and it makes wonderful gifts for things like Christmas or birthdays for someone that likes spicy food in your life. So let's get started, and we're gonna start harvesting some of these peppers because that's the first thing you need to do, and then most of the work is actually gonna take place in the kitchen. All right, so what we're doing here is we're actually going through and we are just kind of picking out the most ripe peppers that we have because it's gonna be a hot sauce and we don't want it to be brown in color. And so any green peppers are actually gonna be omitted from this. Now you can make a green, a salsa verde. You can make a spicy green hot sauce, but we're making a red hot sauce today. So we're getting some of these. These are the serrano peppers here. It's gonna give a real sweet, spicy kick to it, but they are just about as beautiful as you can imagine a pepper looking. So we're gonna get a lot of these. And then we're also gonna be getting some jalapenos. Now the jalapenos, we actually already picked most of those. I don't see too many more red ones, but we got some jalapenos for just some good kind of floral overnotes. And then also, to make up the big bulk of our peppers here, we have our New Mex Joe Parker pepper. Now you can also use like a red bell pepper, something like that. That just kind of bulks up the hot sauce and it also tames it down a little bit. I'm not someone that needs a hot sauce that's like 200,000 Scoville units. I'm not using any Carolina Reapers or anything like that. I just like a really good tasting hot sauce. Now we also have something super cool that we're gonna be adding. Check it out. Check out these New Mex Joe Parker peppers. Wow, they are absolutely stunning. Now we're gonna use a few that are a little on the green side just because we need to bulk these up, but these plants are loaded. Look at all the peppers. Look at the amount of peppers on this plant. Definitely gonna use that one. It's kind of brown, but it's still turning. And then there's another one in here. Look at this. Look at the absolute beauty on those peppers. Wow, love it, love it, love it. These serranos are so productive too. They're just, I mean, they are loaded. Now we're gonna be adding something really, really special to our hot sauce. These are Tabasco peppers. Now, we are gonna be making a solely Tabasco pepper Tabasco sauce, but they're not all ripe yet. When they ripen, they're gonna turn orangish red like this. So we do have some down that were kind of the first peppers to start forming, and these are ripe. So we're gonna get a bunch of these to add to our hot sauce, but there are not as many as there will be in a couple weeks. So these are simply gonna help flavor our hot sauce because these are wicked. These right here are so good. They're not really floral, they're not really fruity. I don't really know how to describe the flavor of them, but they are just, they fall off the stem really easily too, so you gotta be careful, but they are just such a delicious pepper, and they're gonna kind of help to add that overall balance of the hot sauce. All right, so we just harvested this beautiful basket of peppers here. Now we are not gonna use all these. Some of these are a little too green, but we're gonna roast those down for dinner. Those are gonna make awesome roasted chilies. But I'm also gonna add some of these green chiltepin peppers. These are also known as bird's eye pepper, and they're mean. They're super spicy. They remind me kind of almost like a Szechuan peppercorn. And so I'm only gonna add a few of them, but they're gonna add a wonderful flavor to the overall hot sauce. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these to the kitchen. Let's go. All right, so we're back from the garden. We got our beautiful bowl of chilies here. Picked out most of the green ones. We have basically all red and orange chilies here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a brine going. We washed the peppers, that's the next stage. We're gonna get them cut and de-seeded. I prefer to de-seed mine because they just kind of add a little bitterness, and sometimes they can tend to kind of, they just kind of tend to like chunk up the process a little bit. I like a really creamy, smooth hot sauce. So I'm gonna core and de-seed my peppers, but in the meantime, I need to get a brine going. I'm gonna make a 3 to 3.5% brine. That means 3.5% by weight. So however much water I add, I want about 3% by weight of salt. And that means it's really gonna help the chilies to actually ferment without promoting any like bad bacterial growth. So to this 500 grams of water, we're gonna add about 17.5 grams of salt. One last thing here before we cut to the next step is just make sure that you are wearing gloves or really wash your hands before you touch the areas that never see the light of day. I'll say that much. Because if you're cutting hot peppers with bare hands, you might burn some stuff, some areas that you don't want to burn. Like your eyes. Come on, don't go there. All right, I'm just kind of getting the cores out, some of the seeds out, throwing them in. Woo, smells intense. Ah, it smells hot. Oh man. Just throwing these in to the jar. And obviously there's gonna be some cores, there's gonna be some seeds. You could sit here and be like really precise about it, but I'm just getting the bulk majority out because they can tend to be a tad bit bitter. Oh man, woo! All right, and the last thing we're doing is I'm just gonna finish cutting up all these peppers. For the tiny little Tabascos, I'm just gonna give them a little rough chop, just kind of open them up so that the brine can get inside there. It's gonna help them from molding and help them ferment a little more evenly. But these bigger peppers, I'm just gonna scrape out the pith and the seeds, and then I'll cut to when we need to add the brine. It's that simple. All right, we're just gonna throw in some fresh garlic from the garden as well, just to kind of spice things up a little bit, give it a little more aromatic. So I'm gonna put some fresh garlic in there as well. And then we're gonna take our brine, we're gonna simply add it to the peppers. Now, I'm probably gonna need to make some more brine. Yes, I am. So I'm gonna make some more brine because these need to be actually submerged under the brine. You don't want them on top, otherwise they're definitely gonna mold. All right, quick pro tip for you. The reason why you're doing about 3 to 3.5% salt content in your brine is because the salt is gonna draw moisture out of the peppers, and that's gonna cause some dilution. So if you went with like a 2% brine content and you add it to your peppers, you're gonna end up with something maybe like 1 to 1.5% salt content at the end of it. Remember, these peppers have a ton of water content in them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna up the salt content, so once it gets diluted, you're still in kind of that safe range so no bad bacteria can be fostered. We're gonna add this just so the peppers are submerged. And you'll notice some of the peppers wanna float. That is okay, because what we can do is we can use either like just a mason jar, a sanitized mason jar, push that down, or we can get what's called a kraut, like kraut stone, I guess. They're like little fermentation lids that kind of just weigh them down. It's like a little glass puck, basically, that just kind of weighs things down so that nothing floats. So I'm gonna just let these sit in here. If they float too much, I'll weigh them down, but they should be just about fine. They're just under the surface of the brine. So once we do that, we're gonna see you in about 2 weeks. You're gonna put a lid on these. I don't have the lid with me, but you're gonna put a lid on these. And when you see a lot of bubbling, you're gonna wanna burp the jar. Super important you do that. That way it doesn't build up pressure and pop on you. Or if you're a pro, you can use an airlock. That's basically just a lid that has a little water top on it. You put water, it lets air go out, but air can't come back in, just bubbles basically. And so if you got that, use that. But it's also really simple just to burp your jar. And that way, not a whole lot gets in and kind of helps that it kind of helps it ferment a little better and doesn't allow any yeast or bad bacteria to get into your jar. There we go. All right, see you in about 2 weeks. All right, so it's been about a week since you last saw us, and these peppers have just been bubbling away. They are looking great. I've had to come in here periodically and burp the jar so that way it doesn't pop on us. But like I said, if I had an airlock, that sucker would just be bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. And it smells, I'll tell you what, it smells. Before we started filming, we burped it just to check to see how the fermentation was going. It's definitely slowing down. A couple days ago, it was just a bubbling cauldron of fermenting peppers. But now it's just a few bubbles, and that's telling you that most of the sugars have been consumed. And oh man, it smells so good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready. The thing you're gonna need, obviously, are your chili peppers here. You're gonna need some white distilled vinegar, and then a blender, and optional, you don't have to use this step, but I love a nice creamy, smooth hot sauce that I can put into like bottles for gifts and stuff, a little shaker bottle. So I'm gonna use a colander and a bowl to catch it so I can strain out some of the seeds and skin and stuff that might kind of clog up a bottle. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we wanna capture just our peppers. So we're gonna take the brine, dump that out. we're gonna reserve the brine. Now look at that, all that stuff in the bottom. That's all stuff that we wouldn't want in there anyways. So there we go. So now we're gonna take our peppers and we're gonna add those first, because now you don't need, you're gonna use a little bit of the brine, but you don't need all of it. All right. Into the container it goes. Ooh, it smells so good. All right, so a couple tips here. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just start with our brine, because we're gonna do a 1-to-1 ratio of brine to distilled vinegar. So I'm just doing a 1/4 cup of each. Now do not throw this out. This stuff, man, you throw this in the fridge. I got this tip, can't take credit for it. Got it from It's Alive with Brad Leone. Takes this stuff, man, you pop that on some chicken in a little, one of those little pop bottles. Ooh, so good, so unbelievably good. So I'm gonna add another 1/4 cup of that brine, another 1/4 cup of the vinegar, and that should be good. About a 1/2 cup is really all you need to make this stuff amazing. All right, put the lid on and blend her up. All right, so we just blended it up. I actually transferred it over to our Ninja blender just because I wanted to get a really good creamy chop on it. I'll tell you, look at the color. Look at the color of that. It's absolutely amazing. It's been naturally fermented. It's a process called lacto-fermentation. That basically just means it gets its name from the lactobacillus bacteria. Sounds really bad, but that's the same bacteria that's in your gut, making this actually kind of healthy. And so there's no chemicals, there's no sodium benzoate, there's nothing you can't pronounce. It's just natural stuff, and it's super good. So we're gonna throw this into a sieve. And again, I just do this because I like a nice creamy hot sauce. You'll notice so many of those chunks got caught. So I'm gonna get a little sieve. We're gonna sieve this out so that way I can get all that beautiful hot sauce. All right, and as you can see, that's all the stuff all the skin and pulp and seeds and stuff we've captured, which is great because I don't want that in my shaker bottle. So we're just kind of pressing it out, getting all that last little bit of good stuff out. Alrighty, so now we just take our finished product and ooh, it definitely takes your breath away. If you breathe it in, sometimes it takes your breath away a little bit. So we are ready to just bottle it up. I just got these little flip tops. And I'll tell you, these are awesome. But this also could go in one of those little shaker bottles too. Beautiful. I'll tell you, that is so incredible. And this is gonna be shelf stable because we have stabilized it with the vinegar. This can literally just sit out in your pantry, on your counter, or you can refrigerate it if you want. But this is awesome, so beautiful, great color. I love the color, just such like a carrot orange almost. But no recipe would be complete without a taste test. So let's give it a shot. Oh, it's hot, very hot. So, wow. That's hot. That's incredibly hot, actually. It goes so good though on some tacos, or even if you're making like buffalo wings. Wow, that would be such a good buffalo sauce. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did and you decided to try this, let me know in the comments box down below how it turns out for you. It's just one way that you can use the harvest from your garden, preserve it in a unique way, and I'll tell you what, these make some of the best Christmas gifts ever. My whole family, when we make this, we get little smaller bottles and make some unique little labels and stuff and give them away as gifts, and they always are so well received. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. Can't think, it's so hot. And as always, we'll catch you guys all on the next episode. As always, grow bigger. Bye.